microphones?
Oh, yes.
Oh, I think this is on. Hey guys. All right, we're gonna wait for everyone to start coming in. All right, great. All right, we got the lighting worked out. We got a whiteboard up. Nice. I need a notepad. Because you guys give great notes. Ooh. You all set?
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool.
That's good.
Yeah, no, you're good. All right, let me just get settings right. Okay, good. All right. And can you see that for a sec? Thanks. Yeah. Oh, can you grab me one more thing? Come here. No, come here. All right, give me water. Yeah, today we're going to be talking about projects, and we're going to be working on now versus later. All right, make sure everything is good. Let me know how the volume is. I think I'm getting there each week. Lighting, soundboard, I think is starting to get more dialed in. And the funny thing is, I didn't check the community page before I went on today. Today was a long day. We actually had some obligation to get to at 6 o'clock. And I was doing one of these binge fests with these old school projects people are building, like from everything from log cabins to tools made from wood. Let's see, projects. And we did start 3 hours later tonight because of that. So instead of the regular 6 p.m. time, we went for 9. And I hope you guys gave you guys enough notice. All right, cool. Good timing. Okay, never mind. Okay. Let me go grab something. I'll be right back. Got what I was looking for. How are you, Rob? How's it going? All right, we got projects. And I hope everyone got the memo that we came on late tonight. All right, cool. I'm gonna give you guys a chance to come on in. Yeah, that's a McNaughton. I like that one. It's a lot going on in that one. I hope you can see it well. Let's see if this, here we go. It's, he does really good work. Very reminiscent of, not Thomas Kincaid, who's the, he's at the museum up in Massachusetts. We actually went there back in 11 when I was pregnant with E. And maybe you can help me remember. It's like the Four Freedoms. Norman Rockwell, yes. I actually got the little metal. When you go to certain museums, you get like a little metal pin that you put on. Use like a little, you can pinch it on there. Norman Rockwell, yeah, it's very reminiscent of our modern day Norman Rockwell. And I like this one in particular because you have a bunch of politicians who claim to be for the little man stepping on our flag and holding up flags of Mexico, the EU, China, and the UN and others. And you got Trump, basically looks like near the border. And you have here a little doll on the ground. And you get the caution sign that you see a lot of. I think they first started coming out in California with families crossing the border and trying to make a run for it. And he's basically praying over this little doll right here. We got these people in the background just trampling our freedom for the sake of feelings. Yeah. So basically, we're going to be talking about projects, and the ones that we should be targeting on are the ones that we need to focus on now and later. And on the board, for the projects that we should be working on now, and these are suggestions. We can also work on ideas that I want to hear from you guys. We have heat and warmth, food storage, training. That could be from medical, communications, gardening, food preserving, and stocking up on supplies, because that's a tough one. Canning in particular, one I've been looking for recently are ball jars, quarts, pints, half pints, and the best I could find are these little jam jars. And that's the best I can do. For later, things you can work on, like right now you can probably plan. I can probably put that on the board. For now, you can plan on the projects that you're gonna work on for later. So you work on planning. Planning for projects. I'm a little tired. It's a long day. We did a lot of moving wood that we split for. I did splitting 2 days in a row. My husband did the last of it that I couldn't get through the splitter. It was too big yesterday. And it was really nice today. It was in the 70s and sunny and warm. It was beautiful. So I said, hey, get outside because it's nice out. And there's a Post-it right here, if you can see it. We're gonna play a little game later at the end of the show. So we pick a number, and that whoever's closest to without going over is gonna win this. This is from Happy Yak, and it is a Mandarin beef and rice. And check that out. I hope you guys can see that. You got broccoli, peppers, carrots, big chunks of beef and rice. It looks really good. So we're gonna give that away live tonight. And let's see what else is going on. Now for projects we can work on later, we have building projects. It could be anything from sheds, wood sheds, coverings, fire pits and ovens, greenhouses, stuff for gardening, which is going to be so important depending on where you live, what your resources are. If you have land, how creative can you get with it to build on these gardens? It does look tasty. It is. I will say this comes from Canada, and technically they're international, but the shipping, this took close to or just over 2 weeks to get here. This took a while, but once you do get it, this is really full. This is a big bag. Normally you get bags that are like about here, maybe a quarter full, half if you're really lucky. This is all the way. This is like a 3/4 full bag. So it's very impressed. It looks gourmet. And we bought something else from them. I try to remember. We got this a little while ago, and it was good. So I figured, hey, this one's worth sharing. Again, the word out. So let's see what else we got. And then training, more training for later, stuff that you can do now during the cold months and stuff you could do next year as well. And again, plan for that. And new gardens. It's important to learn to garden indoors and out with the changing that we've talked about and shared and showed examples and videos of the changing of the jet streams and the record ice growth from at least 17, 18, 19. And this year, I think the melt stopped about a month early. And there was a video, I think I shared a link recently where someone talked about explaining the Gulf Stream, how that can actually slow down and almost stop. And what's going to happen is there's going to be this inundation of cold water coming from the north, and that's going to stunt the the Gulf Stream, and that's going to cool down the weather dramatically over in Europe and along the coastlines there. So it's so important to learn to grow your food indoors, not just grow it indoors and outdoors, but get creative with that. There's a guy, I believe I shared a while ago. I'm going to find him again. He has an in-ground greenhouse in Nebraska. I'm going to find that and link that later. And I might make another video and just throw that link in there for reference. And he can grow citrus trees. And let's see. I'll get caught up here. Susan Lander. I found pine jars at a dollar store. Someone else mentioned that they worked great. I canned in them and they're sealed relief. Nice. Good job. Absolutely. And someone else mentioned in a video Mennonite stores, where it's these little off the beaten path stores that have literally everything you're looking for, but your big box stores that we're always going to may not have. And that's what we've been on your regular day to day. So it's so important to get online and get creative and look for those stores, and even little mom and pop stores. Again, there's an older guy, a gentleman out in Nebraska, has an in-ground greenhouse. And I'm making notes to share that link later. And there's a video, I believe, on YouTube. It's this beautiful tour. It's in-ground, and the glass is right above. And he's got trees, fruit trees, citrus plants growing, and greens of just about every kind. And it takes time to make these things and create them. But where in Canada site did you buy it from? This is called Happy Yak and Quebec. This is from Quebec, and a lot of French back here. Yeah, there's a lot of great stuff in here. A lot of it is very wholesome looking. 34 grams of protein. That's amazing. And it's pretty full. And what's cool about this, and I'm really happy I brought this out because my husband was at work talking to someone who travels, and he's looking for a way to cook food without flame. And I said, he was asking about this. This is what we bought years ago. It's called a Magic Cook. And what you do is you pop it open. See if I can demo this for you. You pop it open, and you put your food in here, in this container. And you take this little pouch, you add water, just like the MREs, plop this over it, and you close it. Just one here, two side. And you let it sit until it's done, and you have this right here. If you want to pop it open, let some of the heat out. It's that easy. And he reminded me of this. I said, I know we have it, let me find it. And it was in the back of a cupboard in the kitchen. And this was, I think, 2 or 3 days ago. This just came in the mail today. This is another version of it. This is called Barrel Cook. And exact same design. And this, I'm trying to find a website for you guys. It's made in Korea. Identical to this from what it looks like. And let's pop it open. And this came in the mail today. This is a very productive day. I got sunburned, moved wood, drove collectively about an hour throughout the state trying to run errands. And so again, this is what it looks like. This one actually comes with like a little foamy koozie on the outside. It's called Barrel Cook, world first innovation, flameless cooking system. Fishing, camping, driving, hiking. Again, you pop the sides. Same principle. Zach looks just the same. You get your little packet of information in here. You got German, French, Spanish, Russian, Korean, Chinese, Japanese, and American, or English. And then you get emergency pad flameless heating pack. This is what it looks like. It says no needed. You don't need fire, electricity, or gas. Water is your fuel. Simple picture directions, put on the bottom, tear it open, add your water, put your container on top of it, which is this right here. Heat until desired temperature that you want. So you get this and you already get a pack in there. Now I will say this, I went on Magic Cook's website and they were sold out of these containers. So my husband went on Amazon and some other sites, found this brand. It's the exact same thing. Magic Cook, Fertilize Koozie. It's the exact same. Same principle, same design. I think this was just a smidge bigger. But we did order extra of the heat packs to cook with. So I'm gonna put this back in here. Yeah, this thing's amazing. If you go cooking or if you want to keep this in the car with your go bag, it'd be a nice compliment. Maybe even get a little clear tote and put that in there if you want. So yeah, but tonight we got this as a giveaway because why not? Water plus quick lime and heat. Water and quick lime. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, this is the same thing with the heat packs. So you got these two options. Magic Cook, like I said before, is sold out on their website, but Barrel Cook, B-A-R-O Cook, was available and it's the exact same design. Again, it's quiet. You don't need any fire. It's portable. It's really lightweight. Yeah, this one, it gives you ideas. It's soup, coffee, tea, noodles, pasta, steak. Yeah, it's windproof, fireless, no ventilation required, rain and sleet proof, indoor car, tent, and hotel. Easy to activate. Yeah, easy peasy. So that could be a part of your projects. A part of your project could be building your bug out bag or supplies at home, getting clear totes, getting organized this winter. When it's cold out or raining, the best things you can do is do an inventory check or check out what you have or what you need, make those lists. So that's what we have on the list right now. But again, if you have any ideas of projects that you can work on now during the cold months to get ready for next year. Hey, quick question. Who saw the video I posted today about that movie clip? That was fascinating. I don't know if you guys saw that or were aware of that movie, One-on-One, that was made back in 2014. That was fascinating. And that article from Australia, back in 2014, they talked about pandemic planning and everything that's been going on now between lockdowns and live feeds from funerals because you can't gather in large masses. Everything that is happening now was exactly what they talked about back then. Yeah, instead of sending me emails, you can live chat now if that's easier. Again, we're looking at ideas and projects that we're doing now And what we've really hitting on now are heat and warmth, food storage training, and more in particular food preserving, because we did talk about food shortages. And again, it's still nice out. So it's a great time to stock up on Mylar bags, O2 absorbers, and dry goods. You can do that now. You can stock up on your pastas, your salts, your sugars, um, dry coffee. You can do teas, anything that you could think of that would be long lasting and available now and affordable. That's so important. That's the thing. Get these things while they're affordable and available. Not yet. I'll go there after this. Again, and here's the thing, it doesn't take long to make these lists, to get creative and look online, see what other people are doing, see what how they're organized, where they've shopped from. And same thing with, like I talked about earlier today in the video, you can can your food, you can dehydrate your food, you can take frozen food, put it in the dehydrator and save that for later. You can can it, you can bag it, you can put it in bins and get creative and organized. Take these bins, mark them on the outside, stack them up. And same thing with medical supplies, band-aids, bandages, tape, gauze, Neosporin. You can even get these stitches where it's sticky on one side and you can stretch it, put it over the wound, and it'll actually snap it closed for you with tension, with the string in the middle. Let's see. Again, it's all about getting creative and exploring and looking for those little fine details that work together and really put that kit together. All right, what else we got? Food storage, we talked a lot about. Water. A good one for water is Bison well pump. We put a well pump on our well a few years ago and came in real handy with Tropical Storm Isaias. And you can go on their website, you can go on their YouTube channel, see how it works. You can do it yourself. My husband and I installed it. It was real easy. And you have a source of water without using the bucket and string like a lot of people talk about. And again, stock up on supplies, big things, little things. And organization is key. It doesn't need to be an Easter egg hunt every time you need to find something. Yes. I like planning. I like knowing not only where things are, but I like to see them. For when it comes to supplies, a big thing that I've been buying a lot of lately are puzzles. You can get wooden puzzles in these kits where there's many, many ways to put them together. So you can use them on snowy days, rainy days, and even help keep morale up. Hi. Oh, hey, I used to see. Hey, Tori. Here, feeding my chickens. Nice. How are your chickens doing? We're back up live on DLive. We had a feed issue. We got resolved today. So the live feed is back up. Sorry, I was missing out on some of these. All right, yeah, we talked about where the food came from. This Happy Yak that we're going to be giving away later tonight came from, I only discovered this late last year. This is from Quebec, Canada, and really good food, really wholesome. We'll show it to you one more time. You got big chunks of beef on there, vegetables, and because technically it's international shipping, it took a while to get here. It took definitely 2 weeks. And good stuff though. It's a full bag. What else we got? Buy bulk from farmers markets. You can dehydrate fruit and veggies, buy seconds, much cheaper. Absolutely. And it's healthier. You're supporting your local farmers and the markets. So you're actually going to encourage them to come back year after year because they got people actually taking the time to drive out and shop from them. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Again, I talked about the dehydrator in the video today. One in particular that I saw a while ago was a guy demoing 3 of them. And what we settled on was the Excalibur because it has a fan in the back and it'll help circulate the air to keep an even dry of the fruits and vegetables. Yeah, you can slice apples. You can make apple chips, banana chips. You can do vegetables. You can take vegetables and fruit from the freezer section and dehydrate that. Keep that thing running all the time because there are so many examples of videos of anywhere between flooding, droughts, locusts. Oh my gosh, the locust. Someone mentioned in the comment section, I think last week, that locusts are now in America in the Southeast. I want to look into that. Here's the thing, they could do a lot of damage and eat a bunch of crops. We talked about on AgWeb, farmers go on there and they can actually post what they're seeing in their own lands. They're posting everything from soybeans, corn, beans, how in the chat, what I read a lot was that corn was dry and the soybeans were either aborted or not fully mature when they froze and they got lost. So if you look at not only here in America, but across around the world, China, I want to say, based on articles and information and videos, they all but lost all of their crops this year, either from the majority from flooding or drought from the extreme north, and then locusts and then earthquakes on top of all of this. So, and they're not the only ones. Northeastern parts of Africa, locusts, India, locusts, and floods. These weather patterns are changing. And so it's so important now to stock up while you can, when you can, because it's available and it's still quasi affordable still. And not just food, but supplies. You want to stock up on glass jars. So when you are able to grow your own food or buy locally at farmers markets, you're able to dehydrate the food, freeze the food, you can can the food, and look online, look at old books. I love these channels where they actually do what they say when it comes to like period piece channels, for example. You have people who built log cabins, people who create tools and bowls out of wood. Really creative, real talented. And I post these links in the description whenever I share these videos. I like to play parts of the videos. I like to definitely give shout outs to these channels because a lot of these people who are doing this talk about the same things, but in such a great amount of detail. Like when it comes to heat and warmth, there's so many different ways to stay warm. Something I recently discovered was in a pinch, an emergency, people actually line their walls with emergency blankets. The really fine, flexible ones that you can find real cheap at like REI or camping stores. And they got really cold. They would just tape the back, put tape on the walls, and line the room with these emergency blankets. So again, it's just about being positive and creative, no matter what the challenging times are that we're in. Susan, I've been doing tons of bananas and dehydrated as snacks in winter and also make banana bread. Absolutely. When it comes to bread, a great place to, I would recommend storing wheat berries because a lot of people will talk about flours, either wheat flour, rice flour, and other varieties of flour. The only downside with that is unless you're going to use it and actually rotate that, it will go rancid and lose its potency over time. So wheat berries in Mylar with an O2 absorber will last you a long time. And the great thing you can do with wheat berries, you can sprout them, you can snack on them, you can grind them fresh for fresh flour for your breads or cookies or whatever it is that you're going to make. And it'll be more nutritious and better for your long-term health. And that's a big thing too. We talk about storing so many things and being supplied and prepared. And some of that is vitamins and supplements. The lost ways by, yep. Claude Davis talks about the old ways of doing things. Absolutely. It's almost like a lost art. In fact, tonight, my daughter and I wrote a thank you note for an event that we left. And I broke out the wax and the stamp and the seal. And she learned how to melt the wax on the envelope and use the seal on it. I'm also soaking beans and cooking them and dehydrating them for fast food that does not need tons of water in emergency. Also did that with rice. Oh yeah, parboil, you can, again, wheat berries, and a great source that's still available, depending on where you live, is Honeyville. Honeyville.com. You can go in there and buy different variety of grains. And they also have freeze-dried foods. Honestly, they're pricey when it comes to that. I would shop around for that. But when it comes to grains and wheat in particular, you can buy up to 50-pound bags for almost $1 a pound. And shipping is actually really reasonable. I think if you spend another $2 more, it's like $8.95 or $11 for shipping. And that's just one. I'm not sure there might be bulk discounts, but yeah, 50-pound bag of wheat berries. You can get hard red, soft white. You can get rye. Again, check it out. It's honeyville.com. And I will leave the link, Honeyville. Great site. There, again, a lot of these are out of Utah. Very few. I think My Pages Supply has a warehouse out of Florida now, but the bulk of them are out of Utah. Again, it's just getting creative and seeing what people are doing out there. And again, with the lost ways, a lot of people buy supplies. We've talked about this, but then they store them. They never leave the box, or they never get their hands on these supplies that they have. And then when it comes time to utilize them, A, they don't know where they are or how to use them, or it takes them a lot longer to figure it out. And when it comes to camping, is how we call it, get out there and practice making fire, practice dehydrating food, canning food. There is an art to some of these things and skills. We have chickens, and that responsibility of protecting them and then getting the eggs, keeping on the counter, using them, rotating through your food and through your supplies, and then audit it. When was the last time people went through their refrigerator on the side door and actually read the expiration date on their sauces or condiments? So it's good to have checklists at least twice a year when it comes to warm weather or springtime. Go through your refrigerator, go through your pantries, go through your bins and your supplies. Look around and see what needs to be rotated or swapped out. Same thing with wintertime. Before it gets cold and you're either snowed in or you're just inconvenienced to get out, do you have enough socks? Do you have boots that are comfortable and they're still to keep you warm? Do you have your winter jacket that still keeps you warm and does it still fit? Same thing with your supplies, food, water. Do you have a variety of spices to keep things interesting? Do you actually make bread? Do you get creative and utilize these skills? Practice making bread. We got a little creative. We went to a local brewery company, and we got 2 different strains of brewer's yeast, and we use it as our bread starters, and it smells amazing. I made Eva bread with the Yorkshire strain, and I actually took potatoes. I took 3 or 4 of them that we grew, peeled them, diced them up, boiled them really good, mashed them up really good, and we made a home style potato bread. And it smelled amazing. And what I did was I got creative the second time I made it. And you guys should try this. Let me know how it works out. We took the stone, put the bread in there, and took the ring from when you make cheesecakes, put that around the bread, snapped it, put it in the oven. In the last 5 minutes, I carefully took the ring off. So you have a nice crust around it. And it came out beautiful. She actually said it looked like a cake. So you actually have, instead of like the round bread, they're kind of thin. This is actually nice and tall. So you can actually slice it and make sandwiches or have a bigger surface to work with. Sandwiches and whatnot. Absolutely. That was a lot of fun. Again, it's just getting creative and taking what you have and doing something with it. That's the fun thing with these things. You can practice. Like, we want to try winter camping. We actually want to put out a tent in the snow, build a fire, cook out there, and see how long we can last and what we can learn from that. Have you guys done any winter camping? It's one thing to read about it or see people talk about it, but I actually want to hear people actually explain if they actually have done it and what worked out and what they would do differently. There's some really cool stoves that you can place inside tents that I've been looking at online. It looks like a lot of fun. But yeah, that's on our projects. That's another thing we totally add on that thing is winter camping. And that's something we can do now. Well, before it gets cold, we can actually supply for and get ready. That'd be a fun video. And for projects that you work on later, are hobby supplies. A lot of people who like sewing, for example, if you want to fix things or mend things, do you have the supplies for that? And can you get them now? Again, while they're available, that's the big kicker. It's not just, again, prices go up and we understand that with inflation, but when it comes to availability, with the supply chain being so disrupted as it was this year, and that was global when it comes to warehouses and tankers being able to make their deliveries. especially a lot of ports that were closed down from China to the West Coast. I had a video on there from a woman who was a truck driver talking about the lack of cans, the trucks that were waiting to pick up loads that they didn't have any. But yeah, The Lost Ways, very good book. And there's a ton of great information out there. The one I was watching earlier is Townsend's, Townsends, and that's on YouTube. They actually dress in the period pieces. They actually use the period tools. They make those period tools, and they talk about not only cooking, but actually building and creating these tools. And you can actually watch them do this using the correct period pieces, using the correct period tools, and cooking over fires and teaching you how to do this stuff. And again, these are all projects, and depending on where you live, if it's just you or if it's a big family, what type of projects can you all get together on a work and put together? You can work on things now. Can you plan out big projects later? And not just planning it out, but seeing who wants to help out and get involved in these things. You can make a whole assembly line, especially in the cold months, and get things done. Absolutely. But yeah, when you soak the beans, you can actually use them for sprouts and put them on sandwiches, for example, and get really great nutrition from that. It's huge. And another thing you can do with the wheat berries is you can soak them, dry them, grind them, and you have that sprouted wheat bread and actually pull more nutrition from the wheat berries. Again, these are just things from trial and error, looking online, trying them, and seeing what works. Yeah, you can soak the wheat berries, put them in the dehydrator, grind them, and you can have some really great bread. Yeah, this normally we have the show at 6 o'clock at night. It's starting to get a little late. So you know what we're gonna do now? We're gonna pull because I want to keep this fair. Make sure you guys let's see. I have on here pick a number closest to without going over, and we're gonna go from 1 through 100. 100. And whoever is closest to Price is Right rules will win this, the Happy Yak. This would be the Mandarin beef and rice. So if you guys want to go ahead and guess 1 through 100, and then what you can do is if you, whoever the winner is, you can email me at TalkwithTiffany at Proton Mail, and you can send me your address. I will get that out in the mail tomorrow. All right. Let's look for 1 through 100. The Lost Ways by Claude talks about the old ways of doing things. Yeah. Closest to without going over. I know it's late. Normally I do it 6 o'clock. I'm missing a bulk of my people who are actually in here. That's why I was debating. It's like, do I do this tonight? Yeah, so 1 through 100. And I actually have the number written down on the back of this. So I want to make sure I keep it fair. If you guys want to guess, we're going to give away the Happy Yak Mandarin beef and rice meal pack. It's so important to get people prepared. And at least hopefully maybe this inspires someone. So if you do win, maybe you can hand it off to a family member or friend and say, hey, I'm getting ready. Why aren't you guys getting ready? Yeah, it's almost 10 o'clock Eastern. I don't know where the rest of you guys are. Anyone want to guess? I really want to give this out tonight. Again, I know it was kind of late. I was going to do this earlier when I regularly do it, but next week we'll get more people on and we'll do something else. This was a busy, actually this whole week was busy. It was really nice yesterday and today. In honor of Veterans Day 11, 11th hour, 11th day, 11th month. All right, want to call it? Let's call it. All right, ready? Holy crap! All right, winner, winner. Mandarin beef dinner. Ta-da! Nice. You know what? Maybe we'll pick out another one of these magic cooks or something similar and do that one in the future because that's pretty fun, especially in the wintertime with power outages because Oh, you're back. I was to say, I just did a giveaway. Ah, honey. All right. We did this, the Happy Yak. We have a winner, but don't worry, we're going to do more of these in the future because the important thing is to be prepared and hopefully inspire people. You can say, hey, yeah, this was the, just to make it validated. That's okay. We're going to do more. Again, we're going to do it. We'll stick with the 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern time frame because I had a 6 o'clock commitment today. It was pretty important. And I didn't want to miss that. But yeah, we're going to do this again. Don't worry, guys. Again, no more 6 o'clock Eastern time is when we start the show. We did it at 9 o'clock tonight. But yeah, we'll do this again later or next time. But one of these I want to do with the flameless heater, either from Magic Cook or the Barrel Cook. I used to see a vet. Tori, are you a vet? I know you're a nurse. Let me know if you're a vet. I used to see. We have a question for you. Nope, but I know she's a nurse, which is a great skill to have. You're going to make a lot of friends in the future. That's a huge asset to have. I still can't believe it's almost October. And I found out the other day, a couple days ago, we're supposed to have 2 full moons and one on Halloween. And that is technically called the harvest moon because it's closest to the fall equinox, I believe. All right. But yeah, we're going to do more of these because it's affordable. It's kind of like the saltwater lamp we made a video on before. That's a bright lamp. If you haven't seen that, check it out on my channel. It's bright. It was like $20. I'll pass the price to her though. Tough occupation to be in nowadays. Guess what? I used to see you're a winner. All right, hold on. Let me put down I used to see. See, this is what I love about you guys. You guys are a wealth of information. I used to see winner. You have a Mandarin beef and rice dinner making your way in the mail. So if you can, email me at TalkwithTiffany@ProtonMail and just drop me your address. I'll get that in the mail for you tomorrow. I'm gonna get that out ASAP. I hope you're still here. Please tell me you're still here because he wants to pass it off to you. You guys are awesome. Seriously, with your comments and advice and information you guys share down below. I'm not a vet. Dad was seaman, 2nd class, World War II, greatest generation. Oh, no, thank you. I'm retired for 3 years now. I appreciate it very much, though. Just do it. Take it. Take the meal. I think you earned it. Yeah, you guys are great. But yeah, this is, again, I try to talk about paying it forward. Yeah, do it, honey. Come on. What I like about doing these things, I love finding these little nuggets of unique finds, like the saltwater lamp. And yeah, email me. Send me your info, email me, and I'll get that out tomorrow for you. This is why you guys are great. With the information you guys share, again, with the links, when it comes to book referrals, information referrals, tips and tricks about things we talk about, someone who's actually done it before will explain it or do it better. And again, with these things, I love finding those little gems. Like, okay, there's Mountain House, there's Backpackers, you have My Page of Supply and others. But I love finding, this isn't a big business. This isn't anything that has like widely known. So again, it's a big community. It's all about helping out one another, working together, finding these things. So hopefully they expand. They can create more meals and hopefully get here in America where it's a little bit easier with shipping. Yeah, Tori, email me and I'll get that out to you. But again, these things right here, they're affordable and they're still available. This Magic Cook is not, but this Barrel Cook, B-A-R-O Cook, still is. And more importantly, when you buy these things, do get the extra accessories with them, like the little heat packs. Because with the colder months coming, they may sell out. We never know. I agree, Robert. Greatest, bravest men and women ever. Do you ever get lost watching those stories late at night or those old videos? Kind of, looking back in the 50s and 60s or even earlier. Isn't it amazing? These are definitely one of those times where I wish I had grandparents still around to ask them, how did you guys make it through these tough times? How did your parents make it through the Great Depression? How did you guys, live and garden and work together? This is why, again, you got to dig and search online with these or books, for example. Um, get creative, listen to stories, go to the library, try things, get creative with old school recipes, get your cast iron seasoned. My dad would have loved you what you're doing. Between you and Mama Bear, you guys are great today. You guys are really sweet. Um, but that's just it. It's just having an open mind. Love the old movies. I miss my grandparents very much. I know. It's those stories. I mean, if it wasn't for COVID, you always hear people say, go to convalescent homes, go to those places. They will sit and talk with you for as long as you're there. And you kind of wish you take those opportunities to do that. And this right now, with the way everything's going, you really do. You kind of want to do that as soon as possible when it's safe. But they're a wealth of knowledge and experience. I mean, think about decade after decade, what they've been through, what they've seen, what they've experienced. They could probably tell you, oh, you have an issue with that? Here, do this. It's easy. Like knitting, crocheting, stories, just, how they made it through ice storms or snowstorms. Like I have to go on YouTube now and look at old school videos. Like there's one that talks about the blizzard of 40, 42 or 48. It's out in Nebraska. And it's like one of those PBS videos from like out in Wyoming. Oh no, I think it's Wyoming. It was a PBS video from out in Wyoming. And these people were kids. These people were almost young adults when they survived this big blizzard that came rushing through with all this wind, all the snow, and this one, like these stories are so detailed. They talk about one in particular was someone was trying to clean the floor with a mop, and the mop actually froze to the wooden floor, or trying to burrow their way through the snow, make tunnels, trying to help out neighbors, and trains getting stuck, and people trying to ransack them for food and supplies. I worked at a SNF when I was young. They have so much information. A senior nursing facility, I'm assuming. My grandmother was 14 when the Wright brothers flew at Kitty Hawk and lived to see the moon landing. There was a video I saw recently, it was like maybe 5 or 6 minutes, and it talked about, it was like this old school black and white game show. It had Winston, it was sponsored by Winston. Everyone's on the set smoking. And this old man walks out, he's like 93 or 94. And it's like 1954 and 1955, it was recorded. And you have to guess what that person's story is. And he was the last living survivor who saw or witnessed Abraham Lincoln, his assassination. He was like 5 or 6 at the time, a young boy. Skilled nursing facility. Okay. And again, it's fascinating. Their viewpoints, the way they lived their lives, how they took care of their clothes and their shoes, how they ate. And if you look back at like World War I and World War II, there are these stories about food fatigue and how the elderly and the young wouldn't eat anymore because they're eating the same thing over and over. It's like rice, 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 rice. And they're like, enough. And the elderly would either push their food off to the rest of the family, and they died of food fatigue. Same thing with kids. You try to get a fussy kid to eat rice over and over again, that's a challenge, or anything for that matter that's healthy. So again, it's getting creative, it's listening to these stories, reading these books, and doing these deep dives down these rabbit holes when it comes to documentaries and different areas around the country, from West Virginia, Tennessee, Wyoming. There are these old videos online that you can watch and take notes of. Like, how did they keep their homes warm? How did they create root cellars? How they stored their food with no electricity? And you have this great appreciation for being able to find this information online and how people documented this stuff, because nowadays we all appreciate conveniences, but at the same time, getting back to the roots, getting a new cast iron pan in your hand and using it for the first time, seasoning it, getting used to keeping it clean and not too clean though, and making cornbread, learning how to make cornbread, learning how to make bread in there, creating an oven, and then just kind of growing and adding on those skills are so good. Again, I don't have the grandparents in my life to pull that information from, but I think the next best thing is online and hearing other people's stories, how they got through troubling times, how they grew their food, what they did with it, how they work with their neighbors, and so on. Because in the future, in the coming years, we're going to have to do that. It's absolutely going to be a necessity. So pull on those skills, take those notes, print those recipes, get creative. And I mean, that's in a huge nutshell. And that's why we pull out the whiteboard. And I want to do what I want to do now because we've been doing this because of my daughter. It's amazing when you become a parent, the things that you learn and the things that you get encouraged to learn and do. But what does it say? I'm really trying to watch what I eat. Also cutting back to get my body used to it just in case. I've always been an old soul, canning, gardening, sewing, etc. My parents weren't like that. Same here. Same here. We never had a garden. We never canned food. I didn't sew. Now I have a sock darning kit. It's like the little like wooden mushroom where you put, if you have a hole in your sock, you can fix it. You can mend it. And I get a kick out of it. It's almost therapeutic. You can sit there and just stitch it. And there's so many videos on how to do this stuff on YouTube. So I have my laptop out. I'm a little sock darning kit. I'm like, oh, this is how you do it. It's almost like lattice work. It's fun. It's easy. It could be downright therapeutic if you want to find a reason to go to bed early or just sit and relax and have a quiet moment. Uh, Again, yeah, absolutely. We're in the same boat. We were born for such a time as this. You know what's crazy? I heard that recently. Um, I think it was a podcast or something I was listening to when someone said, just when you think you have so much to complain about, we were born for, just as you said, we were born for such a time as this. So just when you might begin to question things, yeah, we're all here to play a part in all these changes. And yeah, there are times it doesn't make sense, or there are times you look on the TV and you're like, is this real life? Are people really acting and behaving like this? Taking a baseball bat to a policeman's head? Setting things on fire because everyone else is? Believing in my truth instead of just facts? It is absolutely crazy how we got here. But in the big picture, yeah, you're absolutely right. The Book of Esther, yeah. And someone else mentioned today, you can either be Peter or you can be, it's a D. Again, today was a long day. There was a lot of information. I was working on trying to get that video out this morning with the movie and the article. And then you have like tabs off to the side. You're trying to figure out, do I record this today? Do I put it out tomorrow? My heart's seeing all that's going on. Yesterday I cried all day. Look, you know what? Let it out, but then focus on projects like this right here that we're working on and talking about. No, I got you. Yeah, I hear you. I wish I did this earlier because I know we have regularly more people in here, but again, this will be up later. You guys can watch it later, not a problem. I know some people talk about I'm going to be late or they like the earlier times, but again, projects, these are things we can focus on now. Gardening, training, that's a big one. You can do that year round. Communication, medical, start with the basics, then grow and add on that. Gardening indoors, I got to tell you, I tried it 2 years now. It's challenging. And depending on your setup, how you're going to make those changes and tweaks. They have these grow tents now just for some plants that need that high humidity and heat. I get it. I've tried it and it's challenging. So work out all of the mishaps and issues you're going to have now, because don't do it when you need it. Get those seeds in the soil, practice, get used to what works great in the cold weather, like kale, for example. You can put that almost, by a drafty door and it'll thrive. It's crazy. And And then supplies. Think about what you do on a daily basis, what it is that you use, what it is that you might need to share with others. Hard to find training online, no in-person classes here. I shared a link through Penn State Extension with, they have gardening classes. I think, I'm trying to remember what state it was. I think Alaska. Again, if you get creative, um, a lot of universities and colleges have the occasional free class, especially with this whole issue we've had all year round. They have a lot of free training, a lot of free classes, a lot of resources that are either free or you don't need a membership to use right now. So again, yeah, just get creative. Put in search free classes, free training in this, and you'll find a lot of state colleges and universities have that available. You just put, start with the search and see where it takes you. That or old documentaries. Getting creative with those old footage and stories. There are like so many detailed information in there. Like this family that lived in this national park in Tennessee before it became a national park. And I think it was a bunch of sisters. And they lived in this one cabin. And then the state came in and said, we're going to make this a national park. And then there was this agreement where they can stay there until the last sister died. And they did, I think, until the 60s or 70s. And at the very end, they were selling hats and whatever they would make in the house. People would drive up and have picnics with them, listen to their stories. It was very fascinating. Again, all this is online. It's just a matter of typing in one thing and just seeing where it leads you. And it's fascinating, from people surviving the blizzard of the 40s out in Wyoming. They talked about how the wind would push all the snow, and any little crack that was in the windows or doors, the snow would make its way in there. And the floors being so cold, the mops would freeze to it. Or people camping out in restaurants because their train got stuck in all the snow. And it's these stories of survival and being creative when it comes to being warm, how to eat, how to cook in this stuff, all of that. Yeah, just, take it one step at a time, write notes, keep a notepad handy when you're watching these things. And that's probably the best thing, is just read and listen to stories and create lists. And a lot of people, particularly this year, because of everything that happened all at once, started coming out of the woodwork saying, hey, are you still doing this? Hey, are you still doing that? And it's like, I think this is why I kind of went more this direction with the channel. Normally I would talk about anything. And yeah, absolutely. You got it. Um, I think this is why I kind of narrowed down to certain themes and topics, and this being one of them, because this was originally how the channel started years ago. And then I kind of just broadened it with different topics. And this year just kind of went like this. The blinders were hard into this one particular topic, and that's being ready and being prepared. So a lot of what I once did early on is kind of circled back to this again. Having supplies, having training, talking to others, working with others, being all of that stuff. Again, you can go back and look at the old videos I have and pull from that. And in the description, I love sharing other channels. I love sharing resources, anything I find that I know you guys can utilize. Check out and look in the description list. It's all in there. Don't need to be a prepper to be prepared. Yeah, that's true. Again, think about our ancestors. They did this generations ago. They had root cellars, they had gardens. Think about the first grocery store that was in America. That wasn't until the early 40s, maybe. How do you think people survived and lived and thrived before then? Again, there's nothing wrong with advancing in technological advancements, food, ease of availability of all these things year round. We can have oranges year round if you want. A couple generations ago, you couldn't do that. You had to wait until springtime to have fresh fruit or vegetables. So it's just getting back to our roots. That's all it is. It's really nothing special if you think about it. A lot of people think it's, I need a bunker, or I need to, act a certain way. No, you're still living your life. You're still going to work. You're still visiting your friends if you can nowadays. But you're still doing what you normally do. It's just you're going back to the basics. And it's a really good thing. You go outside and have fresh air and enjoy a fresh, sweet smelling tomato, and you have that lovely smell on your fingers afterwards. It's amazing. Now people are too reliant on the system. Nothing wrong with that. It's just, again, finding that balance with being in that system. Again, I didn't grow up gardening and having bees or having chickens or learning how to sew or fix socks. This was all in the last almost 9 years now. Again, it's just take it day by day, eat in season, learn how. Yeah, exactly. Or if you can grow indoors, do it. If you're really good at that, share your tips and tricks. I'd love to learn more. Indoors, small sprouts, stuff like that is easy. It's the bigger stuff that I really want to get better at. But outdoors, it was great this year. I grew 4 different varieties of potatoes. It was so much fun harvesting them, like digging through the soil and popping. It's like Easter eggs. You're finding one after the other after the other. And I'm start moving this bin of potatoes and it's getting heavier. I'm like, oh, I need another one. It was fun. First time doing that. Again, and next year, now you know how to do things better. You know how to fertilize them better. You know how to look out for certain things like weeding. It's great. Yeah. Again, just try it. The best thing you can do is just get your hands dirty and get into your supplies and know how things work, how they operate, and more importantly, how you can add to them, how you can fix them, and all that stuff. What you need, like lamps. We went to Kittery Trading Post up in Maine a few years ago. We went up to SIG for training in New Hampshire, and Epping wasn't that far from Kittery. So we drove over the state line, over the bridge into Maine, and towards the left, there's this big building called Kittery Trading Post, and it was so much fun. They have everything from camping, hunting supplies, and everything else in between with clothing. And we found these beautiful lamps, oil lamps, and I think it was Alibaba or Aladdin. I'm trying to remember the name, but we got them. It has this beautiful bright white light. So we got the lamps, we got the oil, we got the wicks. And what do you fertilize your potatoes with? Mine didn't do well this year. I used a 10-10-10. It was like a big, heavy, dense bag. I got at the feed store. Just 10-10-10 for the fertilizer. That was the blend I used. They did great. Make sure you water them. Not too much. Again, where we put them, it was almost like a nice little incline. So I knew it wouldn't sit. It would drain really well. But just scatter it. Once you get them covered, make sure it doesn't touch the potatoes. And it's really hard to mess up potatoes. It was fun to grow those. As long as they're covered with soil and they're watered almost regularly. And I think I only fed them maybe once early on and then somewhere in the middle. And you keep the weeds away, they're great. I mean, they start really well in the soil. So we have that. We put them back in the bags we had, and I'm starting to pull from them. We wrap them in newspaper, individually put them back in the bags with the airflow and keep them cool. But I do want to take a bunch and I want to save them. And one way you can do that is you take the potatoes, you clean them really well, and you slice them on a mandolin or really thin. You boil them for about 20-30 seconds. Take them out, put them on your racks in the dehydrator or even in the oven if you want. And once they're done, you can put them in Mylar bags, O2 absorber, or glass jars if you want. And you have potatoes for a while. You have dehydrated potatoes you can use for scallop potatoes. You can reconstitute them and put them as a side. You can mash them up however you want. Or you can put them in bread for potato bread if you want. Tomatoes did really well this year, but we haven't had a rain in quite some time. So watering was a challenge that was really big to stay on top of. I'm trying to think what other our notes we have. I don't want to keep you guys too long. Good idea. Again, these are things you can stock up on and get ready for if you want to get stuff in advance while it's available and affordable. Sometime earlier in the year, I did hear about farmers having issues with suppliers. I think there was another channel I watched, Haas Tools. They had a vendor out in Ohio who was backlogged with orders but didn't have supplies in. And that's just one sector of having issues with supplies. So again, get things while they're available and affordable. Lamps, lamp oil, wicks. Seeds for next year. Rareseeds.com has their catalog out. You can order or start shopping for next year. Again, it's just, yeah, I discovered them, I want to say March of this year. And I bought the Japanese Hollis popcorn seeds from them. And again, whenever you have a great channel and it works well, you throw it out there because we can all bounce each other off, bounce these ideas one after the other. Because eventually, some of these things, some people say, I don't want to garden, that's not my thing. Okay, fine. Get the food, dehydrate it, can it, buy it, store it, get prepared, get your water, get your supplies, at least learn something, learn skills. Some people love being outside, they love fishing and getting things done. Again, everyone has their own niche. Everyone can slowly start building on these skills. Not everyone, like I said, guys, remember, I didn't do this growing up. This is all becoming apparent. Mm-hmm. All right, it's just been over an hour. I don't want to keep you guys late any later than usual. Need to work on fire making skills. Yeah, we actually built a rocket stove. If you want to go back and check that video out, that was fun. That was a lot of fun. Watch videos, take notes, and go outside and just, safely try these things. Get all of the hiccups out of the way now. Get all the, oh, all right, now I know what to do differently next time. Do those now. Get all those mistakes out of the way now before you really need to rely on those skills. Again, it's just trying it, trial and error, and seeing what works, what doesn't work. Again, whatever notes I don't have on the board, I'll add down below later. Yeah, fire making skills. Locust, Southeast, Honeyville. In case you're looking for those wheat berries, honeyville.com. And winter camping. We're gonna do some more notes and research on that. I'm excited to try that. Again, ICC, email me your address, and I'll get your this little guy out here tomorrow in the mail for you. Yay! Congratulations. Flatten the learning curve now when it's not critical. Yes, absolutely. Like communications, for a quick example. My husband and I are ham radio technicians. That takes time to learn. There are great groups out there. Whenever you find a ham radio group or club, they are more than happy to explain things to you, get you into class, answer questions, help you out with your test, get you on the radio, working on it. Thank you so much, and thank you. Good job, you guys. I'm really proud. Yeah, email me. I'll get that in the mail to you tomorrow. Again, just make lists and just work on things that are more manageable, and then just build on that. Rome wasn't built in a day, neither is being prepared. But especially nowadays where it's really challenging trying to find these supplies, the wait list. Again, like I said before, there's an email I saw from my Patriot Supply. They just put their 5th warehouse built, and it's in Florida. They have 5 now. They're working 7 days a week. That's just one company trying to expand and accommodate all this growth. But again, go back on old videos, look at the whiteboards, look at the information, look at the description links, and check out other videos. Make your own list. Again, everyone's different. Every situation is different. Some people have big families. Some people have people coming over in case, God forbid, anything happens. And then you have people who are single and probably have all the time in the world to do these things. So be friends with them. How do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? Exactly. All right, I'm going to end it here, but I do want to say thank you guys so much for spending time here. Thank you for the information and the notes and the emails I get. I love throwing it back out there for the rest of you guys. And the stories. I mean, it's fascinating when I get these emails explaining different areas of the country, what's really happening that we have no idea that's happening. And I will say this, if you have any information local or something that just happened that you want to get out there, you can email me, TalkwithTiffany@ProtonMail. And that's it. That's it, really. It's just take it, start with a list and just work on that. That's the best thing you can do. Anything that you want to learn, go for it. There's videos, there's books, there's people out there willing to share it. Enjoy the happy yak. It's really good stuff. All right. With that being said, thank you for taking time out tonight. Next Friday, we will be back at the 6 o'clock regular time, Eastern. So we have more time to talk and it won't be too late for you guys. And again, I like the Friday nights because I know weekends are really important for everyone. Sorry. So with all that being said, be well, you guys. Be safe. Stay on top of things. And work on those lists. Do everything now while you can while things are calm and available and affordable. So be safe and well. And I'll talk to you all later.